One minute, I was up late, hate reading a trashy web novel and slamming the author in the comments. The next, I woke up inside that very novel as the designated loser. The schmuck whose fiancée cheats on him, whose dream girl uses him as a backup plan, and who ends up bankrupt and alone. A notification pinged in my head. Host frustration levels are off the charts. Newbie starter pack granted. BS detector specs plus payback point store. Objective: survive to the finale and crush all villains. My jaw dropped. Wait, you're telling me this is a good thing? One, congratulations, host, on successfully entering the world of billionaires' regret, the CEO's stand-in bride. Current role, Ethan Cole, the walking doormat destined to be ruined by his fiancée and his unrequited love. My eyes snapped open, and the crystal chandelier above nearly blinded me. 1 second ago, I was in front of my gaming PC, raging about the story's infuriating plot. The next, I was standing in the middle of a lavish ballroom, decked out in a tailored tuxedo that probably cost more than my car. System, I thought, testing the waters. Ding, your redemption arc system is at your service. A cheerful, synthesized voice echoed in my mind. Due to extreme levels of reader frustration, a complimentary newbie starter pack has been awarded. Contents include BS detector specs, the payback point redemption store, and a temporary skill. Master the comeback. I glanced down at the champagne flute in my hand. The glass reflected a handsome face, chiseled jaw, sharp eyes, a jawline more defined than my 5-year plan. Holy crap, I was rich and hot. This might not be so bad after all. 2, Ethan, what are you spacing out for? A syrupy voice cooed. I turned to see a woman in a white mermaid gown clinging to my arm, a diamond necklace glittering on her chest. Activate BS detector specs, I commanded internally. Red text materialized above her head, visible only to me. Jessica Thorne, host fiancé, appears sweet and devoted, but is ruthlessly manipulative. Currently sleeping with host's childhood friend, Brad Jennings. They plan to merge their family companies after the engagement and execute a hostile takeover of Cole Industries. Well, damn. The story was wasting no time handing me my official welcome to the plot cheating scandal. Darling, when we have our first dance, you better be on your A game, Jessica purred, winking as she traced a pattern on the back of my hand with her nail. I gave her a wide, toothy grin. Don't worry, I'm going to make it a night you'll never forget. Ding. Payback opportunity detected. Mission: publicly expose Jessica Thorne and Brad Jennings' affair at the engagement party. Reward: 50 payback points. The ballroom lights dimmed, and the MC's voice boomed over the speakers. And now, let's have a round of applause for the happy couple as they share their first dance. As the music began, I took Jessica in my arms and led her onto the dance floor. She leaned in close, her breath warm against my ear. You look especially handsome tonight, Ethan. Do I? My eyes scanned the crowd and locked onto a man in a sharp suit. A glowing tag hovered over his head. The other guy, Brad Jennings, was glaring at me with pure venom. I abruptly let go of Jessica and strode toward the DJ booth. Amid gasps from the guests, I grabbed the microphone. Everyone, before we get this party started, I'd like to share a short film with you all. Ethan, what are you doing? Jessica's face went pale. I pulled out my phone. The system starter pack had thoughtfully included a file named Infidelity__ compilation, MP4. A moment later, it was projecting onto the massive screen behind the bandstand. The video was crystal clear. There, in glorious 4K, were Jessica and Brad tangled in the sheets of a hotel bed. The camera work was so impeccable, you could see the distinctive mole on her shoulder blade. Oh my God, someone shrieked. The room erupted. Jessica looked like she'd seen a ghost. Brad charged at me, trying to snatch the phone, but I sidestepped, and he went tumbling into the champagne tower. The crash echoed through the hall as thousands of dollars of bubbly soaked his suit. 3, Ethan, how dare you? Jessica's father, Mr. Thorne, shot to his feet, his face purple with rage. How dare I what? I shot back, my voice dripping with ice. How dare I expose your daughter for cheating on me? How dare I stop your 2 families from gutting my company? I turned to the stunned guests. To all our friends and family here tonight, please bear witness. As of this moment, the engagement between the Cole and Thorne families is officially over. Ding. Mission complete. Plus 50 payback points. Achievement unlocked. The cheater's comeuppance. Jessica lunged forward, grabbing my sleeve. Ethan, listen to me. That video is a deep fake. It's you I love. Only you. Is that so? I casually pulled a small atomizer from my pocket, a little something from the system called Truth Serum Spray, and spritzed it in her direction. Ugh, what does that smell? She gagged. Then her expression went slack. Actually, I never liked you. If it wasn't for the coal industry's stock, who'd want to put up with a workaholic like you? Brad is 100 times the man you are. At least she clapped a hand over her mouth, her eyes wide with horror. The room was silent for 3 seconds before an even louder wave of gossip washed over the crowd. I coolly removed her hand from my arm. Thank you all for attending my unengagement party. The buffet is open, and it's all on my tab. With that, I strode toward the exit, leaving a mushroom cloud of chaos in my wake. For host, that was epic. Newbie mission exceeded expectations. Bonus 20 payback points awarded. The system cheered in my head. Ready to spend some points in the store? I was now sitting on a ridiculously comfortable leather couch in the Cole family mansion. A translucent menu hovered in front of me. Jinx Bomb Spray, 30 points. Causes the target's next negative statement to come true. 100% blade catching hands, 20 points. Allows for a cool, effortless block of any physical attack. Alpha CEO Aura, 50 points. Dramatically increases charisma and appeal, especially to the opposite sex. Let's save him for now, I thought, closing the menu. If the plot follows the book, the one that got away should be making her appearance right about now. As if on cue, the butler knocked on the door. Mr. Cole, a Ms. Croft is here to see you. I whistled. Amber Croft. In the novel, she was the protagonist's unattainable high school crush. A master of playing the victim, she was the final nail in the original Ethan's coffin. Downstairs, a girl in a flowing white dress stood in the foyer, her long, dark hair perfectly straight. A single, strategically placed beauty mark sat just below her eye. The moment she saw me, her eyes welled up. Ethan, I heard about the engagement party. Are you okay? 5 what a perfect damsel in distress act. I activated the BS detector. Amber Croft appears gentle and kind. Secretly resents Jessica Thorne for landing a billionaire. Plans to use the host's vulnerability to secure her own position. Never been better, I said, flopping onto the couch. Feels good to drop some dead weight. Amber bit her lip. Jessica was just awful. I always knew she wasn't good enough for you. She perched delicately on the edge of the sofa next to me. Actually, Ethan, I've always had a crush on me. I raised an eyebrow. Her cheeks flushed a pretty pink. How did you know? I redeemed a bottle of Truth Serum Spray from the store and, pretending to stifle a sneeze, misted it in her direction. Amber's expression suddenly soured. That's right. I wanted to steal you away for years. Why should someone like Jessica get to be Mrs. Cole? I'm way prettier than she is. If you hadn't been so obsessed with her back then. She gasped, realizing what she'd just said, her face draining of color. I clapped slowly. Bravo. It's a crime you're not on Broadway. No, that's not what I meant. I think I'm coming down with something, she stammered, grabbing my arm. Those were my real feelings. Oh, I leaned in closer. Then try saying this for me right now. I have never wanted to marry into a rich family. Amber opened her mouth, but the words wouldn't come out. A look of sheer panic crossed her face. She shot to her feet. What did you do to me? A laugh echoed from the doorway. A girl with short, choppy hair was leaning against the frame. Whoa, didn't realize I'd walk into the season finale. Amber spun around. Zoe, what are you doing here? Came to watch the drama unfold. The girl, Zoe, said, popping a piece of gum. She gave me a wink. Nice work, Mr. Cole. I've never seen Amber get owned this hard before. I sized up the newcomer. She was wearing ripped jeans and a leather jacket, but the tag over her head was green. Zoe Carter, best friend of the true female lead. A hidden ally in the original story who despises Amber's phoniness. Interesting. Zoe, whose side are you on? Amber shrieked. The side of justice, Zoe said with a grin, holding up her phone. And I got that little confession on video. Should I post it to my Instagram story? Amber let out a strangled cry and fled. Zoe gave me a thumbs up. It's about time someone put her in her place. By the way, I'm a friend of Maya Sullivan. She sent me to ask if your company is hiring any models for a print campaign. Maya Sullivan, the real female lead from the novel. The sweet, talented girl who gets framed by Jessica, misunderstood by the hero, and then donates a kidney to save his life in the end? The ultimate sweetheart? My eyes lit up. We are. Absolutely. Tell her to come straight to the CEO's office for an interview tomorrow. The next morning, I was in the CEO's office at Cole Industries, checking out the system's newly unlocked corporate espionage section. 50 payback points for a complete dossier on any competitor. Host, the board meeting starts in 10 minutes, the system reminded me. In the original story, the Thorne and Jennings families will use this meeting to propose your removal as CEO. I smirked. Let them try. In the boardroom, a dozen grim-faced executives were already seated. I immediately spotted Brad Jennings. Even after being exposed as a cheater yesterday, he had the nerve to show up. The guy had a hide thicker than a concrete wall. Ethan, Brad began, a smug look on his face. Given how your recent personal entanglements have negatively impacted our stock price, we propose that Mr. Thorne take over as interim CEO. Mr. Thorne sighed dramatically. Ethan, my boy, this is for your own good. Young men are so easily distracted by matters of the heart. Are they? I clicked a button, and the projector lit up, displaying a series of encrypted emails on the screen. Irrefutable proof of Brad and the Thornes conspiring to short Cole Industries stock. That's impossible. Brad leaped to his feet. Those emails are what? I smiled coolly. Not supposed to see the light of day. By the way, I clicked the remote again, and the screen switched to a security feed. What exactly was your assistant putting in my office this morning at 8 a.m.? The video showed Brad's assistant furtively placing a folder on my desk. That's a setup. Brad's face was ashen. You don't have a camera in your office. I do now. I snapped my fingers, and security guards escorted the trembling assistant into the room. Mr. Henderson has already confessed that you ordered him to plant forged documents in my office to frame me for corporate espionage. The boardroom exploded in murmurs. And one more thing. I slid a thick file across the table. This is the Jennings Corporation's actual Q3 financial report. It shows a net loss of $120 million, which you've conveniently cooked the books to show as a profit. I'm sure the SEC would be very interested. Brad looked like he was about to faint. You? How could you? Ding. Plus 80 payback points. Achievement unlocked. Corporate raider. I stood up and surveyed the room. Does anyone else have a motion to replace the CEO? Dead silence. Meeting adjourned, I said, turning to leave. Mic drop. Host, the female lead, Maya Sullivan, is checking into the front desk. The system alerted me. I bolted for the elevator. In the lobby, a girl in a simple white t-shirt and jeans was filling out a visitor form. Sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, making her almost seem to glow. My BS detector displayed her info in a friendly green font. Maya Sullivan, 22, fine arts graduate, works part-time as a model to pay for her mother's medical bills. In the original story, she is framed by Jessica Thorne. She is here today on a recommendation from her best friend. Miss Sullivan, I asked, approaching her. She looked up, her almond-shaped eyes clear and bright. Hi, yes, I'm here for the modeling. Her eyes widened. Mr. Cole, call me Ethan, I said, grinning like an idiot. Come on, I'll take you to the photo studio myself. In the elevator, Maya was so nervous she was twisting her fingers together. I noticed a faint bruise on her wrist. What happened here? I asked, my brow furrowing. Oh, I ran into some jerks on the way home from an interview yesterday. She instinctively pulled down her sleeve. It's nothing, really. Jessica Thorne sent them, I stated flatly. Maya looked up in surprise. How did you know? I'm smart, I said with a wink. Don't worry. From now on, no one's going to mess with you. In the studio, the photographer looked stressed. Mr. Cole, today's shoot is for a high-end jewelry campaign. Miss Sullivan's look is a bit. Change the theme, I commanded. We're shooting a natural beauty series. Simple white background. The focus is on the model, not the props. In front of the camera, Maya transformed. She was effortlessly graceful, her expressions captivating. I was completely mesmerized until the system's alarm blared in my head. Warning, Jessica Thorne is approaching the building with reporters. Sure enough, the front desk called to say Ms. Thorne and a media crew were demanding to see me. Send them up, I said with a cold smile. I turned to Maya. No matter what happens in a few minutes, don't be scared. Just play along. 5 minutes later, Jessica stormed into the studio with 3 reporters in tow, pointing a dramatic finger at Maya. There she is, the homewrecker who seduced my fiancée. Maya's face went white. The reporters raised their cameras. I immediately wrapped my arm around Maya's shoulders. Allow me to introduce my girlfriend, Maya Sullivan. Ms. Thorne, our engagement was terminated yesterday. Your current actions constitute slander and harassment. Jessica stared in disbelief. You're dumping me for this nobody. Watch your mouth. My voice dropped an octave. Security, please escort this woman out. And as for you, I said, looking at the reporters, if any of you print a single false word, the coal industry's legal team will be delighted to have a chat. The reporters sheepishly lowered their cameras. Ethan, you'll regret this. Jessica screamed as security dragged her away. I turned to a trembling Maya. Sorry for using you as a shield. She shook her head, then a small smile touched her lips. I never knew the CEO apologized for anything. But she looked at me with a mischievous glint in her eye. Does being the CEO's girlfriend come with a salary? I burst out laughing. It does, and you're paid by the hour. Ding. Female lead affection plus 30. Achievement unlocked. Meant to be. Ding. Congratulations, host. Total payback points have surpassed 200. Unlocking the skill tree system. 8 hours in my office, showing Maya how to use the high-tech espresso machine. When the system notification popped up, a holographic skill tree, like something out of a video game, materialized in front of me, divided into 3 branches: business, combat, and charisma. What is that? Maya asked, waving her hand through the projection. Your office has a holographic display. Cutting-edge tech, I said with a weak laugh, quickly setting the display to private mode. The stock market prediction skill costs 300 points. I groaned internally. System, that's highway robbery. Host currently has 215 points. The system chirped. May I suggest the basic combat skill? It's only 80 points, and you might need it sooner than you think. My senses tingled. What do you mean? Detecting a group of thugs hired by Jessica Thorne lying in wait in the underground parking garage. Their target is you and Ms. Sullivan. I narrow my eyes. This was a major plot point in the novel. Jessica has Maya kidnapped, which makes the hero think she set him up, leading to a huge, painful misunderstanding. Maya, when we leave, let's avoid the parking garage, I said casually. Huh? But my scooter is parked down there. I'll buy you a new one, I said without hesitation. She stared at me. Mr. Cole, you're being really weird today. Ethan, I corrected her, mentally purchasing the basic combat skill. A warm current flowed through me, and a whole new set of muscle memories clicked into place. Come on, I'll walk you to your scooter. The parking garage was dimly lit. Just as we reached Maya's little electric scooter, 4 large men stepped out from behind the concrete pillars surrounding us. Ethan Cole, right? The leader, a man with a nasty scar on his face, sneered. Someone paid us to teach you a lesson. Maya grabbed my arm, terrified. I patted her hand reassuringly. On the count of 3, run to the fire exit on the right. 1, 2. Before I could say 3, I grabbed a nearby fire extinguisher and swung it hard into the scar-faced man's knee. He howled and collapsed. The other 3 paused for a split second before lunging. My new skill took over. My body moved on instinct. I ducked a punch, delivered a sharp elbow to another man's throat, and sent the 3rd flying with a powerful kick. The movements were so fluid it felt like a scene from a movie. Run! I yelled at a stunned Maya. She snapped out of it, but instead of running, she swung her heavy tote bag right at the scar-faced man as he tried to get up. The cops are coming, she screamed. While the thugs were distracted, I grabbed her hand and we sprinted into the elevator. Just as the doors closed, I saw the leader pulling out his phone. Boss, we failed. Inside the elevator, Maya was breathing like she'd just run a marathon. You know martial arts? It's a hobby, I lied, then asked the system. That counts as self-defense, right? Ding. Plus 50 payback points. Achievement unlocked. knight in shining armor. Friendly reminder, Jessica Thorne is already contacting media outlets to spin this as you assaulting innocent people. I pulled out my phone and called my legal department. Pull the security footage from the underground garage. We're suing Jessica Thorne for conspiracy to commit assault. The next morning, my assistant rushed into my office. Mr. Cole, there's a video going viral of you attacking civilians. Just as I expected, a notorious gossip site had posted a heavily edited clip from the garage, showing only me hitting the man with a fire extinguisher under the headline, Billionaire Scion's Violent Rampage. A mental breakdown? Ding. Side quest triggered. Neutralize the PR crisis. Reward, 100 payback points. As I was formulating a plan, the front desk informed me that Amber Croft was here. That woman had zero shame. Amber entered my office, tears already streaming down her face. Ethan, I saw the news. That Maya girl must have put you up to this. My BS detector flashed. Objective, feign concern to gather intel, then leak it to Jessica Thorne to destroy host's reputation. I pretended to be moved. Amber, you're the only one who really cares about me. That Maya Sullivan has a shady past, Amber whispered, leaning closer. I heard her mother is in debt to loan sharks. She'd do anything for money. My expression hardened. That part was true in the novel. The loan sharks were a major source of leverage against the heroine. Really, I discreetly started a voice recording on my phone. Do you have any proof? Amber was on a roll. My friend saw her working as a hostess in a shady club. And in high school, Stop, I said, ending the recording. Amber, do you know what the penalty is for slander? Her face changed. You were recording me. Not just recording, live streaming. I showed her my phone screen, a broadcast of the company's internal Slack channel, with over 200 employees watching. Amber shrieked and ran out of the office so fast she left a high heel behind. Ding, plus 30 payback points. Heads up, Jessica Thorne is on her way to the office with more reporters. I immediately called Maya. Don't come to work today, what? You're already downstairs. Looking out the window, I saw Maya surrounded by a mob of reporters blinded by the flashing cameras. One of them shoved a microphone in her face. Ms. Sullivan, what kind of favors did you perform to seduce Mr. Cole? Rage burned through me. I dialed an old friend at a major news network. Dave, I'm giving you an exclusive. The full, unedited security footage from the garage, plus hard evidence that Jessica Thorne hired those thugs. 5 minutes later, as I was heading down in the elevator, the system blared a warning. Host, Maya Sullivan has been forced into a car by Jessica Thorne's men. I burst out of the lobby just in time to see a black sedan speeding away. Zoe Carter was on the sidewalk, frantic. They took her. They just grabbed Maya and took off. Get in, I yelled, pulling her into my sports car. Do you know where they would go? The Thornes own an abandoned warehouse in the industrial district, Zoe said through gritted teeth. Maya told me yesterday that Jessica had been threatening her. I floored it, simultaneously redeeming GPS tracker and enhanced physicality from the store. System, give me a route. Now. Fastest route plotted. Estimated time of arrival, 12 minutes. Zoe stared at the speedometer, which was climbing past 110 mph. Mr. Cole, did you used to be a race car driver? Nope, I said with a grin. First time, 11 I didn't bother with the locked gate of the factory. I crashed right through it, drifting to a halt in front of the warehouse. I could hear Maya's cries and Jessica's shrill laughter from inside. Stay here, I told Zoe, grabbing a tire iron from the trunk and kicking the door in. Inside, Maya was tied to a chair, a red handprint on her cheek. Jessica was holding a pair of scissors, snipping them menacingly near Maya's hair. Let's see if Ethan still wants you after I give you a new haircut. You little tramp. Get away from her. I roared. Jessica spun around, her makeup smeared into a grotesque mask. Ethan, how did you find? I didn't let her finish. I hurled the tire iron, knocking the scissors from her hand. 2 bodyguards rushed me, but with my enhanced strength, I dispatched them in seconds. Ethan, Maya cried, tears streaming down her face. I was about to untie her when a heavy blow struck the back of my head. I staggered, turning to see Brad Jennings holding a steel pipe, his face twisted in a murderous snarl. Just as he swung again, a smaller figure slammed into him from the side. knocking him off balance. It was Zoe. The girl hadn't listened and had snuck in behind me. "Maya," she yelled, fumbling with the ropes. I shook my head to clear the dizziness and saw Jessica crawling toward the exit. Not so fast. I grabbed a loose rope from the floor and, with a flick of my wrist, lassoed her ankle. She went down with a shriek. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Brad tried to make a run for it, but I kicked his legs out from under him. "Ethan," Maya sobbed, collapsing into my arms. I held her tight, stroking her back. "It's okay. It's all over." Ding. Major payback accomplished. Reward, 200 points. Unlocked, advanced combat, and danger sense. The police swarmed the warehouse. I noticed Zoe was holding up her phone. I live-streamed the whole thing. The entire internet just watched Jessica Thorne's villain monologue. As the police led a catatonic Jessica away, Brad was still yelling, "My father is the chairman of Jennings Corp. You can't arrest me." The lead detective chuckled. "Good. We were just about to head over there anyway. Your father is already at the station, answering some questions about financial fraud." 3 days later, I was in a hospital VIP room. "Mrs. Sullivan, please don't worry. Maya is a full-time employee at my company now, with a comprehensive benefits package," I said, peeling an apple for the woman in the hospital bed. Maya's mom smiled gratefully. "Mr. Cole, thank you so much." "Please call me Ethan." I handed the apple to Maya. She took it, her voice quiet. "The news online." "It's all taken care of," I said, showing her my phone. "Thorne Industries stock has plummeted. Jennings Corp is under federal investigation. Jessica and Brad are facing kidnapping charges, and Amber Croft issued a public apology for slander." Ding. Main story progress. 80%. Keep up the good work, host. Maya shyly handed me a piece of paper. "These are some fashion sketches I did. You mentioned the company was thinking of expanding into apparel." I looked them over. The designs were fresh, modern, and commercially viable, way better than the generic stuff in the novel. "You're a genius," I said, genuinely impressed. "We're launching the new line next week at a press event. You're the lead designer." "What?" And no, I couldn't. "I say you can." "Mrs. Sullivan," I said, turning to her mom, "would you mind if I borrowed your daughter as the lead model too?" Her mom beamed. "Take her. She's all yours." "Mom!" Maya stomped her foot, blushing furiously. As we were leaving, Zoe mysteriously slipped me 2 tickets. VIP seats for the concert tomorrow night. Don't waste them. 13 the next night. The concert arena was a sea of flashing lights. Maya, in a simple pale blue dress, looked ethereal. "Ethan," she said, leaning close to be heard over the music. "Thank you for everything." My heart hammered in my chest. "So, how are you going to thank me?" A sly smile played on her lips. She quickly leaned in, kissed my cheek, and then turned back to the stage, pretending to be engrossed in the show, though the tips of her ears were bright red. Ding. Female lead affection at 100%. Final achievement unlocked. True love conquers all. A brilliant, golden interface popped up in front of me. "Congratulations, host, on completing all main story objectives. You may now choose to remain in this world or return to your original reality. Please choose carefully." I mashed the "Stay in this world" button before it could finish. Are you kidding me? A gorgeous girlfriend who adores me and a life of epic wins versus my sad apartment and instant noodles? Not a tough choice. 14. Mr. Cole, the representative from the European conglomerate RL Group, has arrived. They're in conference room 1. I was in the middle of giving Maya a golf lesson, or more accurately, using the lesson as an excuse to hold her close. Every time her swing went wide and she stumbled back into my arms, I was reminded that golf was truly the greatest sport ever invented. RL Group? I frowned. Our meeting wasn't scheduled until next week. My assistant lowered her voice. "It's the chairman's son. He flew in personally. He said he wants to discuss an acquisition." Maya looked at me with concern. I squeezed her hand. "Don't worry. I'll go see what this VIP wants." In conference room 1, a handsome man with blonde hair and blue eyes was speaking rapidly in German on his phone. He hung up when I entered, flashing a polished, corporate smile. "Mr. Cole, a pleasure." My BS detector flared. Eric Von Adler. Heir to the RL Group. Ostensible purpose. Partnership. Real purpose. Hostile takeover of coal industries. Secondary objective, pursue Maya Sullivan. Great. Just when I thought I was done, the game sends in a final boss. Your English is excellent, Mr. Von Adler, I said, sitting down. I studied at Harvard, he replied smoothly. Let's get straight to the point. RL Group would like to acquire a 51% stake in coal industries for $8 billion. I nearly choked on my water. That's a bold opening offer. It's a serious one, Eric said, sliding a portfolio across the table. Your company has a strong domestic presence, but lacks a global distribution network. Whereas RL Group lost 2 billion euros in the Asian market last year. I cut in. You desperately need our supply chain and our local team to stop the bleeding, don't you? Eric's smile tightened. You're very well informed, Mr. Cole. Ding. Plus 30 payback points. Side quest triggered. Defeat Eric in a business negotiation. Reward, 150 points. Just as I was about to press my advantage, the door opened. Maya came in with a tray of coffee. Sorry to interrupt, I just thought. Miss Sullivan. Eric's demeanor changed instantly. He shot to his feet and kissed her hand. We meet again. Maya awkwardly pulled her hand away. I'm sorry. I think you had me confused with someone else. Paris Fashion Week, 3 years ago. You dropped an earring on the runway. I was the one who found it, Eric said, his voice laced with manufactured romance. I've been looking for you ever since. My hands curled into fists under the table. What kind of cheesy, straight-to-streaming rom-com plot was this? Oh, right. You. Maya's eyes lit up with recognition. You were that creepy guy who cornered me backstage asking for my number. My biggest fan. Ding. Plus 50 payback points. Host's expression is breaking character. Please control your eye roll. I forced a tight smile. Maya, Mr. Von Adler and I have business to discuss. 15, she practically fled the room. Eric watched her go, then turned back to me. Mr. Cole, I've changed my mind. The acquisition terms are negotiable on one condition. Miss Sullivan must be the new face of RL Group's Asia-Pacific campaign. I laughed out loud. Mr. Von Adler, have you ever heard the American expression, not in a million years? I'm not familiar. It means, I said, standing up, that coal industries is not for sale, and Maya Sullivan is not a bargaining chip. The door is over there. Don't let it hit you on the way out. Eric's face darkened. In business, there are no permanent enemies, Mr. Cole. I'll be back. Make an appointment next time. I called after him. Ding. Mission progress, 50%. Reward, 75 points. Alert. Eric is attempting to contact Maya Sullivan's best friend. I immediately dialed Zoe. Code red. A blonde European pretty boy is trying to poach my girlfriend. Keep an eye on Maya's phone. 16 that weekend, Maya told me she wanted me to meet someone special. My best friend. She wants to meet my boyfriend, she said, her cheeks turning the color of a ripe apple. I almost jumped for joy. Boyfriend. It was the first time she called me that. Ding. Special event triggered. The best friend gauntlet. Reward will be based on performance. At a trendy downtown restaurant, I finally met this legendary best friend, a girl in a black leather jacket with a sharp pixie cut, who was giving me a thorough up and down. Zoe, my jaw hit the floor. You're Maya's best friend? Surprise. Zoe smirked, holding up her phone. I've got a whole folder of embarrassing stories about you, Mr. CEO. Maya looked between us, confused. You two know each other? We do, I said, breaking into a cold sweat. Maya burst out laughing. I shot her a wounded look. Whose side are you on? Hers, they said in unison, high-fiving. The rest of the dinner felt like a high-stakes job interview. Final question, Zoe said, suddenly serious. If Maya and your mother were both drowning, and you could only save one. Maya, I answered without a second's hesitation. My mom's a certified lifeguard. Maya's eyes welled up. Zoe nodded, satisfied. Okay, you pass. On my way to the restroom, Zoe intercepted me. Listen up. If you ever hurt her, I will personally see to it that photos of you in a dress become the cover of your company's next annual report. Wouldn't dream of it, I said, holding up my hands in surrender. Inside, I was ecstatic. This girl was more reliable than the BS detector specs. Ding. Mission complete. Reward, 120 payback points. Female lead affection plus 20%. On the way home, Maya tucked her arm into mine. Ethan, thank you for choosing to save me. My heart swelled. I was about to say something deeply romantic when she added, "Besides, if your mom found out you'd been trying on her dresses, she probably would have held your head underwater herself." That Zoe is a menace. 17 Monday morning. The system's alarms went off like a tornado siren. Emergency. Eric has teamed up with a major coal industry shareholder to launch a hostile takeover. The boardroom was a war zone. My uncle, Richard Cole, the scheming relative from the novel who always coveted the CEO chair, was sitting beside Eric, looking chummy. "Ethan, my boy," Uncle Rick said in a patronizing tone, "an investment from RL Group would be a boon for our international expansion." "An investment is one thing. A controlling stake is another," I retorted. Eric smiled. "I'm afraid it's no longer up to you, Mr. Cole. We have the support of shareholders representing 28% of the company, plus the 9% we acquired on the open market. That's only 37%, I said, opening my own file. I control 41%, and the employee stock ownership plan holds another 7%. Your math doesn't add up. What if we add this?" Eric slid a document across the table. It was a share transfer agreement, signed by Maya's mother, trading her 5% of inherited stock in exchange for treatment at a top European medical facility. The world tilted on its axis. This wasn't in the book. You blackmailed a sick woman. I slammed my hand on the table. It was a legal transaction. Eric shrugged. Mrs. Sullivan signed of her own free will, and I don't believe Maya is aware of the arrangement. I immediately tried to call Maya, but the system pinged. Maya Sullivan is currently at the RL Group building, signing a contract to become their new brand ambassador. A diversion. I gritted my teeth. Ding. Final boss mission initiated. Thwart the hostile takeover and rescue the female lead within 24 hours. Reward. 300 payback points. Failure penalty. Return to Chapter 1 and start over. I forced myself to breathe. System. Redeem corporate spy and master hacker skills. Now, a torrent of information flooded my brain. My fingers flew across my laptop keyboard, breaching RL's internal servers. And there it was, the smoking gun. Proof of massive accounting fraud. "Uncle Rick," I said, turning to him, "do you know what RL Group's actual debt-to-asset ratio was last year?" 230%. They plan to use our company's assets as collateral for their own loans. My uncle's face paled. "Eric, is this true?" Eric tried to keep his cool. "Mr. Cole, corporate slander is a serious offense." I hit send, emailing the proof to every board member. "By the way, that $300 million you lost at a casino in Macau last week, you used your RL shares as collateral, didn't you?" Eric looked like he'd been struck by lightning. How did you?" "I know a lot of things," I said, standing up, "like how you secretly offered senior positions at RL to 3 of my executives. Would you like me to play the recordings?" Uncle Rick flipped the table. "Eric, you son of a bitch. You played me." As chaos erupted, I slipped out of the room, dialing as I ran. "Zoe, where's Maya?" "RL Tower, 18th floor. I just hacked their network. Eric's planning to fly her to Switzerland tonight." "Stall them. I'm on my way." 18. The security at RL Tower wouldn't let me pass the lobby. I flashed an ID badge, a fake RL senior consultant car my tech department had whipped up yesterday. In the elevator, the system warned, "Eric has bodyguards blocking the 18th floor. Redeem invisibility cloak." I winced, spending 150 points. Skill active for 10 minutes only. On the 18th floor, for burly guards stood outside a conference room. I held my breath and slipped past them, hearing Maya's angry voice from inside. "The contract never said anything about going to Switzerland. I want to terminate our agreement." "Ms. Sullivan," Eric's voice was cold as steel, "your mother has already received the down payment. If you breach the contract, you will owe us 3 times that amount." I threw the door open. "How much?" "I'll write you a check." The room fell silent. Maya ran to me, her eyes filled with relief. "Ethan, they tricked me into signing." "I know," I said, stepping in front of her. "Mr. Von Adler, according to contract law, any agreement signed under duress or fraudulent pretenses is void." Eric sneered. "Mr. Cole, you're trespassing. I could have you arrested." "Go ahead," I said, holding up my phone. "The police might be interested in this recording of you threatening to cut off Mrs. Sullivan's medical treatment unless she signed over her shares." His face went ashen. You couldn't possibly have. And this. I opened my email. The evidence of RL's financial fraud has already been sent to the EU's top regulatory agency. Care to guess what your stock price will be tomorrow morning? You, in a fit of rage, Eric grabbed a heavy vase and threw it at me. On pure instinct, I spun around, shielding Maya with my body. The vase shattered against my back. The pain was sharp, but I grinned through it. Ethan, Maya screamed. I'm okay, I managed. It hurt less than a golf club. Sirens echoed from the street below. Panicked, Eric tried to escape through a fire exit, but was tackled by building security. Ethan, Maya was crying, trying to check my back. Are you an idiot? For you. Always, I said, wiping a tear from her cheek. Let's go home. Ding. Final mission complete. Reward, 300 points. Title unlocked. Titan of Industry. Special tip. Female lead affection is at maximum. A proposal is highly recommended. 19. That night, Maya insisted on putting ointment on my bruised back. As she gently dabbed the cut, she spoke softly. Ethan, let's get married. What? I almost fell off the couch. Wait, that's my line. Then say it, she whispered, her eyes shining. I slid to one knee, pulling out the ring I'd been carrying for weeks. Maya Sullivan, will you? Yes, she cried, cutting me off with a kiss. Ding. Congratulations, host, on achieving the happy ending. The system will now commence unbinding. We wish you a lifetime of happiness. Wait, I shouted in my head. Unbinding. You're leaving. This system's purpose is to fix tragic stories. Your life is now officially a romance novel, not a melodrama. My work here is done. I held Maya close, feeling a strange sense of loss. Thanks for everything. Goodbye. P.S. The redemption store will remain open permanently. Payback points can be converted to cash at a rate of 1:10,000. My eyes widened. Wait, I still have 215 points. Conversion successful. $2,150,000 has been deposited into your account. One last piece of advice. Don't you dare mess this up, or I'll be back to turn you into the loser from Chapter 1 again. The voice faded away. What are you thinking about? Maya asked curiously. I smiled and kissed her forehead. Just how we're going to word our wedding invitations. The end.